I never imagined my life would turn into the kind of story that people argue about in comment sections. I used to think things like this only happened in late-night confession threads or in movies where the groom stares at the ceiling wondering where everything went wrong. But the truth is that the collapse of an entire future can begin with a single sentence that should never have been spoken out loud. It happened 2 weeks before the wedding, during a warm evening that felt too peaceful for the disaster waiting inside it. The sky was soft, the lights of the city were blinking awake, and my fiancée was standing in front of me with a kind of nervous energy I had never seen in her before. It reminded me of the way people look when they are preparing to confess something that has been burning a hole inside their chest. Something they know might not be forgiven. She sat across from me on the couch, twisting her fingers, avoiding my eyes. And for a long time I thought she was worried about table placements or guest lists or some small detail that couples usually argue about before a wedding. But then she inhaled, deep and shaky, and said she needed to ask me something important. Something serious. Something she hoped I would understand. When she finally spoke, the room seemed to shrink. She told me she wanted one last night with her ex before the wedding. She said it quietly, almost whispering, as if lowering her voice could soften the impact. But those words landed like a brick against my chest. I froze, unsure if I had heard her correctly. I waited for a laugh or correction or some sign that this was a terrible attempt at humor. But she looked straight at me, eyes already shining with guilt, and I realized she was deadly serious. She explained herself in ways that only made the pain sharper. She said she needed closure. She said she wanted to start our marriage with a clean heart. She said she needed to know for certain that what she felt for him was truly gone. And every word felt like someone slowly turning a knife. I sat there looking at the woman I was supposed to marry, and something inside me felt like it cracked. Not loudly. Not dramatically. It was a quiet kind of break. The kind that leaves a person silent. She said she loved me. She said she chose me. She said this night would help her let go forever. She said she hoped I would be mature enough to understand. Mature enough to allow her to spend one final night with another man before becoming my wife. For a moment I thought about ending everything right there. Calling off the wedding. Telling her that love should not require humiliating compromises. But I did not speak. I did not shout. I did not fight. I simply nodded in a calmness that surprised both of us. If this was what she needed to discover who she truly wanted, then so be it. She seemed relieved when I agreed. Relieved in a way that made my stomach twist. She kissed my forehead gently, as if thanking me for being reasonable, and walked away to prepare for her night of closure. She did not notice that I was watching her differently. That something in my silence had changed. I did not sleep that night. I stayed awake listening to the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking of the clock while imagining her with him. Every image hurt. Every thought scraped against my ribs. I felt like a stranger inside my own life, watching everything unravel without lifting a hand to stop it. She came home at dawn looking tired, guilty, and almost afraid to meet my eyes. She showered quickly, slipped into bed, and whispered that she loved me. I stood in the doorway, staring at the woman who believed she could betray the heart she was supposed to protect and still expect a wedding to follow. That morning, while she slept, I looked around the apartment we had built together. I traced every memory, every framed photo, every small moment that had once felt real. And the truth hit me with cold clarity. If she needed closure with someone else to decide I was the man she wanted, then I was not the man she deserved. I packed quietly. No noise. No notes. No explanations. I took my documents, my clothes, the few things that truly belonged to me, and I left the ring on the kitchen counter where she would see it the moment she woke up. A silent symbol of everything she had lost. Then I walked out the door and vanished from her life without a single word. No calls. No messages. No attempts to justify myself. I did not cancel the wedding. I did not tell anyone. I simply disappeared. And for a long time no one knew where I had gone. They searched for me. Friends called. Family reached out. Her parents demanded answers. She cried to everyone who would listen, saying she had made a mistake and that she never expected me to take her request literally. But I stayed silent. My silence became my final message. Weeks passed. Then months. And I heard through mutual friends that she spiraled into confusion, then shame, then regret. That she finally understood the weight of her request. That she finally realized closure should not cost the trust of the person who loves you. That she finally faced the emptiness of the choice she had made. Sometimes people want closure in the wrong places. Sometimes they chase old ghosts instead of protecting what is real. And sometimes a single moment of weakness destroys a future that was ready to begin. I did not leave because she spent a night with her ex. I left because she asked to. Because she believed our love was strong enough to survive her walking into another man's arms one last time. Because she thought I would still stand at the altar waiting for a woman who had so little regard for the vows she was about to make. She will never understand that the wedding was not the moment that mattered. It was the request before it. The request that revealed everything I needed to know. I vanished because staying would have meant sacrificing my dignity, my peace, my self-respect. And no love deserves to cost that much. I disappeared because she chose closure over commitment. And I chose silence over a lifetime of wondering if she would ever need one more night again.